The National Wrestling Coaches Association Coaching Leadership Academy has become one of the most important meetings for the health of collegiate wrestling. We had a chance to talk to several coaches who participated in this year's event to get their thoughts on why this is important and what they got out of it.
I've grown to be a big advocate of the program. When I heard it was going on, I thought, it's a neat concept. Then when I was chosen to come down here, I was excited and knew I would grow and learn, but it's more than I ever imagined. I mean, I learned every session, every minute. I took probably 25 pages of notes over a day and a half, and I've been fortunate to have a lot of good mentors throughout my career, but just learned even more here. Had a great mentor in Coach Miller, and it's an amazing program. The NWCA has really created something special that's gonna help our program for the future.
Really just learning to utilize all the resources that are available to us, whether it's coaches who came before us, people on our campus, just using their knowledge and implementing it into our programs. Just how important it is to maintain those relationships. You never know who's going to be the next person to help save your wrestling program and who's going to be your next employer or who's going to be there to hire your athletes and to look out for you and your program.
This was like the first time that, because we're so new to this experience, that we can come here and learn from the knowledge of all these great coaches. You know, they've experienced this, they've walked through these footsteps, and they've made mistakes, and they're here to tell us the mistakes they made and what they did that was great and what we should focus on and where to spend the most of our time and how to capitalize on the best opportunities for funds and the best all around ideas of what we want our program to reflect and the values, our core values represented in our program, and ultimately we're all here for the girls and we want the best for the girls, and that was just huge in there, that these athletes are going to be carrying our sport on further, and we want them to be educated and we want them to be well-rounded, and we want to give them every opportunity possible, and this program here taught us more than I've learned so far on how to do that and how to give that back to these girls.
I think no matter what the program is, you want to develop good people for life and always strive to do your best in all areas, in academics and in athletics. But if you stop learning, then you're done as a coach, as a professional person, as an athlete. So it's just about learning at any level, whether you're NAI, Division III, II, I. Just the lifelong learning is why this program is so great.
I think first of all, it's a great idea. There's great philosophy surrounding, you know, the development of the program itself, and I'm very excited and enthusiastic to see, you know, what it will grow to be. It's actually grown quite a bit over, you know, a few small, short years, and I think it will grow in a great direction and be a great resource for wrestling at all levels, from, you know, the old guys, the old coaches, all the way down to the young kids who are just getting started.
No, I think it was kind of a learning process for me as well. Is that, you know, you get down here and you're talking to somebody that is your mentee, and they're just learning, and they're going through, and they have questions on things that I even forgot that I even had to deal with, and those things seem very simple to me now compared to what they seem like to that person. So, you know, I think there was a lot of questions and answers that you're involved in. It was a good way to make some connections. It's good to see a lot of, I think, passion from young coaches or guys that are just getting started. You know, and I think it ends up, it was said over and over, I think it ends up being just as beneficial to me as it is to the people that you work with.
It's like every situation we've always ever been in, you know. It's the same. We're the girl in the room again, you know, and we've been here before and we've survived it before, and we're well adapted to this position and this situation. Here we go again. Yeah.
Right now we're the representation. All eyes are on us, what we're going to do, how we're going to handle those situations that come up, how we're going to handle our programs, and ultimately how we're going to run it and advance not just women's wrestling, but help to advance the sport of wrestling in general.
find a way to get to the program, find a way, talk to your administrators, talk to your alumni, wash cars, find a way to get the money to get to this program. It's amazing. It's been more than I ever hoped for.
Brian Smith hit on several different fundraising tactics, a way of galvanizing people behind a brand, a university brand that they brought to the program, and really drawing in and marketing his program to that community. And that's something we easily do at San Francisco State, or let me not underestimate the difficulty of what it would take. But the idea that he'd well thought out the plan, he had a strategic plan. We can take that, borrow that, and implement it in our area, and really start to foster and generate our own wrestling community based upon our own university brand.
Brian Smith was amazing to me. I thought that he had a ton to share. With Spades about recruiting was incredibly informative, and he's one of the best recruiters in the nation, and they're more than willing to help us, and I think I'm very thankful for that. Like, these coaches are here to see our programs grow as well, and they've given us their numbers and said, call if you have any questions with anything, and we're gonna call these guys.
One of the biggest things that I think that I've taken from this is don't be afraid to ask. There's people out there that are willing to help and that want to help, and we just have to utilize them to the fullest potential.
Technique is such a small part of it. A good coach is a good coach, and you administrate all the different things. One thing that I think, in the way that it bucks the system, if you look at football programs, they share knowledge. They go to different camps and coaches and share knowledge with each other. We've been so closed in the wrestling community to say, oh, we don't want to share our knowledge with this other team. We might compete against them. Because we're all getting together, there were 60 different coaches in that room for the last day and a half sharing knowledge, and just that alone is going to help the sport. Once we get past the fact that we have to protect our program and think globally and as a community of wrestling, this program is doing that. It's bucking the system, and we're going to get better as a community.
I was thinking about that. It was something I used to think about with teaching, and you'd be in teacher prep or around teachers a lot, and a lot of the teachers, once they got out into their first teaching job, they didn't want to learn the content of teaching anymore. They knew that. They felt real comfortable with that. It was the certain cases or the discipline, or how do you organize your, how do you manage your time, and that's what it seems like most of the people at our table were talking about. How do you do this? And I, we were talking about someone wanted to fundraise, and they wanted to fundraise $700 or $800, and I remember what that was like to want to raise $700, $800. But you kind of smile, because as the longer you're around, the littler that seems, and now at our table was Archie Randall and Jim Miller, and those guys are talking about fundraising $100,000 and things like that. So I think that was one. The new coaches just really want to know more about not how to shoot a double leg and those kind of things, but more about, hey, I have a problem with this kid. What would you do, or what should I do? Or I have a problem with these parents, or I need to I've never talked to any alumni from the school that I just got hired at. How do you make those connections the first time? And you go back and you relate your experiences with them.
It's huge for women's wrestling. I mean, we want more opportunities, and now that we have women coaches stepping in these head coaching positions, it's going to be huge, and being included in academies just like the men to get the same training and the same knowledge that they are exposed to.
Men's wrestling and wrestling as a whole is such a big community, and it's a family to us, and you perform better when you have that family support around you. And being here, we definitely got the feeling that they're here to help us, and whatever we need, they'll give us the tools that we can use and give us advice that we're going to need for this next year and for the future of our programs.
What happens here is the kind of the things that most coaches want. As coaches who have been with programs for several years wish they had the opportunity to really tap the brains of another coach, even their competitors. And this is kind of a open and honest place where, you know, information is being shared as far as what has contributed to their successful programs, what were their pitfalls, and what were great moments. And I think having the opportunity of hearing, witnessing all that is promising. It's an opportunity to say, okay, well, I can. Those are mistakes I've made. I can relate, so I'm not the only person. And this is a great opportunity now for me to bounce back and, you know, grow.
Well, you know, I think for sure it energizes you. You know, it energizes you, and especially as you get close to the start of a new school year. I know this convention, and having come to it for a number of years, you always go home with a new, you know, new energy. You can't wait for the first day of school, rather than, you know, other feelings that you have. I would say that is the biggest benefit, and a number of things were brought up about to-do lists this week, and I think coming here and being a part of this program definitely made my to-do list a lot longer. And so I think you take tools from here that can be really, really helpful.